Ahead of the first-year memorial of the acclaimed Nigerian singer and actor Lanre Fasasi, popularly known as Sound Sultan, close associates are getting ready to leverage on some of his works and brands to immortalize him. While his memory still remains fresh in the hearts of his, loved ones and others, we're still struggling with the reality that the Niger Ninja co-founder has passed. In a brief chat with the entertainment news on Channels Television, Ifeoma Morugbe of Now Music recounts the memory of the man, Sound Sultan.
It's hard. I don't think relief is the word. You kind of like grow into some degree of acceptance on a daily basis. You go from that feeling of denial to gradually accepting that, okay, this is for real. It's not like, a cruel joke or something. But the thing about Sultan is, while it's painful that he's not here, the people who know him very well, he has left so much. He's been so much. He's left so much. He left so many things to be happy about, to smile about, to be grateful for, and probably most importantly, he leaves you with belief in humanity, belief in your own humanity, challenge your own humanity, because what he lived for was to give his talent, was to give his time, was to give support, was to give laughter, was to give joy, was to give meaning, was to give essence, was to give context. So everywhere you turn, there's a Sound Sultan, landmark, and it just reassures you that there's good in humanity, irrespective of whatever happens, irrespective of how many million they charge for a form so that they buy. You just notice somehow there's some good, in the world.
He also shares immediate plans of his friends to continue some of the projects of the late singer to keep his legacy alive. He stressed that this might eventually serve as a template to help unearth some other opportunities within the creative spaces that has been ignored in Nigeria for so long.
It's going to be executed under the brand Sound Sultan Eternal. So the two key objectives. One is to ensure that almost every project that he was passionate about, that he was working on actively before he transited, is delivered, is completed, and is completed with a similar level of excellence, that he would have loved to deliver it, to the audience. That's the first task. The second task is to create viable and sustainable income streams for his estate, for his family, of his assets and his legacy. And that is, so at one level it's significant because it sounds Sultan and he more than deserves it. At another level, it is important for the music industry, for the entertainment industry, especially at this time. I might be wrong, but there are not too many departed icons whose works, whose assets are being monetized in such a way that there's reasonable returns for their family, for their kids that they left behind. With the exception of Fela, for example, I don't know too many people in acting, in sports, in music who are transited, and you say this person's estate and $3 million last year and 10 million, like you will say about Elvis Presley, about Michael Jackson, about Tupac Shakur, about Notorious B.I.G., Bob Marley, and the like. It's not a common thing in Nigeria, and it shouldn't be like that, because it's down to the structure. Sometimes when we talk about structures in this music, in this music industry, people don't get it. They think it's some far-fetched stuff, right? But it's the way an industry is structured. There's a respect for IP. There's a process of ensuring that IP is treated exactly the same way a physical asset is treated. So if person A spends his time and his resources building houses, right? when it passes on, those houses, they're monetized, right, to the benefit of his family, right? If you have a fleet of cars and they're on the road and you're running, transport, whatever, they'll get paid, right? But when you have IP, when you create something that is IP, why is it different? Why, so that whole culture, that the structures that ensure that people who create are compensated, and they're compensated fairly, they're compensated at the right time, they're compensated to the right measure. That is a bedrock of a vibrant entertainment system, systems, laws, structures, associations, organizations, and all of that. So that is one thing. If, for example, if you, on your show, if you wanted to use a Rex Lawson music or something, you're probably not sure who to, how to, if you want to beyond the music, if you want to, as great as Sonny Okosun was, as great as Christy Ese Ibokwe was, when was the last time you attended an event, a cultural or creative event in their honor? The way you see a celebration, the way you see Fela on Broadway, who's doing that with, Hubert Ogunde? Who's doing that with, a lot of all this great... So, as an industry, we need to, first of all, realize that this is an anomaly, and we need to find a template to correct the anomaly.